name is Dr. Nancy Rolnick. I am a sports medicine physician and I help people of all ages doing all sorts of activities, from elite athletes like former Olympiads to little league soccer players or people who fall down at the park. I have a broad range of knowledge across the body, so I take care of feet problems and ankles, knees, shoulders, hips, backs, elbows, you name it. People can come to me and I'll take care of their issue. I've been a team doctor and head team physician at St. Mary's College. I volunteered at UC Riverside when I was training down there, and I've also helped with local high schools. So I have a wealth of information that I'd like to share with you today, and my topic is fitting in fitness. So I know you signed up to do Balance Before Burnout. I know that you're struggling with lifestyle choices or finding the time or motivation to enhance your health. My job and my life has been dedicated to helping people to advocate for their own health and wellness, and hopefully you'll gain some information today. That's my hope, and let's get going. So we've all thought about and know the benefits of exercise. It's not rocket science. You feel better, you have more energy, you sleep better, it helps with mental health, it can reduce your chance of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart attack, strokes. There's so many health benefits, but that's not why you're not exercising. It's why you feel guilty about not exercising. The other thing that's really valuable about exercise is the social benefits that come from exercise. When you form a team, let's say a tennis team, or maybe you're playing volleyball, or maybe you're just on a biking group, you have camaraderie, and that camaraderie is very rewarding because you make some friends, you have somebody who wants you to be there, somebody to be accountable to, somebody you can encourage as well. We all have slumps, and having some people to be part of your active lifestyle is super valuable. Hopefully that includes your family, your spouse, your coworkers, even your children. So those of you who are parents like me, I have 2 kids, 8 and 10, and I'm married, and we have 2 dogs and a hamster and a cat. So we have all sorts of things going on in our house, and we take family walks. We started playing Pokemon Go a year ago, and we've had all sorts of Pokemon hunts, and as a family we'd go out and capture things, and it just actually got us out moving and going to the park more often because my son was really excited, and actually it was kind of fun. So finding activities to do with your family, I think, is very, very important, because a lot of us who are working moms or working dads, we just don't have as much time as we want to be with our kids. So, you'll maybe forgo exercise because you don't want to go to the gym and leave your family. So if you can incorporate your family into it and say, even have them do a yoga class on a video with you, or go for a bike ride, or go for a walk, or, a whole variety of things. Even shooting baskets with your kids, it's all of that can provide you some just general exercise. So reach out and see if you can get yourself a buddy. I think that's really helpful. So the consequences of not exercise, we all know that too. We're maybe a little heavier, our pants are a little tighter, we don't like the jiggle in our arms. So that's just physical looks, and maybe your clothes don't fit as well. But really the consequences is the negative health consequences, whether it's getting higher blood sugar or higher blood pressure or higher cholesterol, and all 3 of those increase your risk of cardiovascular disease and early death. And so really exercise is, I think, the #1 prescription that's going to keep you alive and well till you're an old person and you can play with grandkids or do the traveling you want to do in your golden years. I see a lot of people who have been overweight in their lives, or they maybe did a lot of exercise as a young person, or even as an adult, and they end up with really bad arthritis. And so when they get to retirement, when they have the money, they have the time, now they can't climb stairs? Are they, are they afraid they might fall, or they just have too much pain? And so I don't want people to get there. My ideal patient is somebody in their 30s or 40s. They're no longer in college, or they're no longer super young, and they're maybe more sedentary because they're sitting at a desk. They're traveling. Their lives are pulled in different directions. Their responsibilities are great. And so a lot of them have gained weight. A lot of people have gained weight between leaving college and becoming getting your first job and becoming a parent. And so those people I'd like to encourage and help them find a direction that'll get them back to the health that they once had, and also help ensure that they do live a long, healthy life. So we know the why you should, and we know what happens if you don't. So what are the reasons you're not doing it? Now, hopefully you join this program about balance before burnout so that you can improve, right? So you're already a motivated group. We're kind of in a biased situation. I'm lucky because you guys are already motivated and have a plan. Maybe you just don't know exactly what that is. So the common excuses I want to myth bust a little bit. So the main ones we see people talk about: they're too busy, it's too expensive, they're too tired, I'm a new mom, I don't like to exercise, and I just sheer lack of motivation. It's too hard to get off that comfy couch, or put on your slippers and your robe, and not fun to get out of bed early, or whatever it might be. So let's kind of go through and how can we combat those common myths. So too busy. Keep in mind we have, of course, 24 hours a day, and that equals 160 hours for the week. So in that 160 hours, the American College of Sports Medicine and other organizations in medicine recommend doing 150 minutes of moderate exercise in that week. So that breaks down to 5 30-minute workouts. That can be a walk, that can be a spin class, which is usually an hour, that can be Zumba, that can be tap dancing class. One of my patients, she's 70, and she and a couple of girlfriends just started taking tap dancing. I love it. I love that kind of activities in the older population. So there's so many fun things. Look at your community center and see if there's something that you might enjoy. So in that time, we can fit in 150 minutes if we have 168 hours of the week. Now, granted, of course, you're sleeping, you're working, but somewhere there is some time, and it doesn't have to be all done at the same time. So there's research that shows that you don't have to get the 30 minutes in a row to get the cardiovascular benefits. So you can take a 15-minute walk at lunch, and then maybe when you come home, do some push-ups or weights, or maybe you have a stationary bike or something at home. And so you can break your exercise into two. And if you really don't have any equipment, we'll talk about some things that you can get at home that will really help you find some meaningful exercise at home. So don't feel like you have to go to the gym, have a special outfit, have special shoes, drive all the way to the gym. There are things you can do just outside. You can go for walks, bikes, all that kind of stuff. So we know from the U.S. Preventive Task Force that less than 50% are doing the amount of exercise we recommend. And your healthcare dollar, which a lot of people are very concerned about, your spending will go down significantly if you do not get these lifelong diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease. So not only is the benefit your health, and you feel good, and you look good, and you have energy, but also you will not spend as much money when you get older, or even when you're young. I mean, there's diabetics who are 30 years old. They're getting younger and younger. The sad thing is a lot of pediatricians, when I went into medical school, they're like, I want to go into pediatrics because I don't have to deal with those chronic illnesses, and kids are so great and they're motivated. And while they believe that, what we're seeing is so much obesity and kids who are overweight that we're getting type 2 diabetes below age 18. And those are the patients that pediatricians and family doctors are taking care of. And we do not want to see that. So if you're having struggles, you might have some struggles in your family, and it's really, really vital that the parents lead a good example so that the kids can lead a long, healthy life. We all want our children to live a vast, wonderful life. And if they have diseases that bog them down, and you've contributed to them, you might feel a little guilty about that. So definitely take it upon yourself to help your family choose wisely in terms of their food, and get everybody active, and just start small. So Another thing to think about is to schedule your workouts. When people say they're too busy, it's because they haven't maybe planned their day out. And so the recommendation generally is to actually put your workouts on your calendar, in your iPhone or a written calendar. You're going to work out these 3 days doing walks. You're going to go on a long hike on the weekend, and maybe you're going to work with a trainer or do weights or something another day. So if you actually write it down and actually plan for it, it's more likely to happen. So a lot of people talk about the fact that it's too expensive. Well, is it really too expensive? Let me tell you why it's not. Number one, going outside is free. All you need is some shoes, some pants, and some clothes, because going out naked probably wouldn't be good. And get out there, just walking. Walking is the best exercise. You don't burn as many calories as running or higher level of exercise, but you sure do get the cardiovascular that we need to be healthy. Another thing to think about is simple things like yoga mats. And standard yoga mat, maybe $20. And that will give you some cushioning if you have hardwood floors or tile at home and you want to do some sit-ups and things like that. So that's not very expensive. You can buy these exercise bands. It's called GoFit. They're on Amazon. They come in a pack of 3. I think they're $15. And it also comes with a little book of exercises that you can work, usually your lower leg, but you can even do like things with your arms. Like you can do like hold with one side and pull up with the other to get a bicep. You can put these around your ankles or your knees, and the booklet will show you how to do that. But again, very cheap. And if you travel a lot, these are really great because you can throw them in your suitcase. This is a medicine ball. And a medicine ball, this one is 8 pounds. They run from $20 to $40. And so this can be used, just like overhead presses. You can go side to side. It's really good for core. So there's something called a Russian twist where you sit up and you are sitting on the ground and you rotate side to side to side, and you're getting your obliques and your central abdominal muscles, which are vital to keeping your core strong. So this is pretty cool. And also if you have kids, it's kind of fun because you can kind of push it to each other or pass it to each other and make some enjoyment. I got my water bottle here just to remind me to tell you, be sure to drink water before your workout, during your workout, and after your workout to stay hydrated. Light weights. These are, I don't know, 5 pounds or something. These do not cost a lot of money. Having maybe 3-pound weights, 5-pound weights, maybe 15, maybe a kettlebell. It does cost a little bit to, by pound, I forget what it is per pound, but you could go to somewhere like Play It Again Sports and get used equipment. You could look on Craigslist under fitness or weight training, and there's all sorts of people selling things. I personally have bought a lot of things on Craigslist because I really like it, and I have found really good deals. I bought my spin bike on Craigslist. I bought my step on Craigslist. I bought my weight bench just to do seated weight exercises. So a Bosu ball. Did I say the Bosu ball? The Bosu ball is a really good thing. B-O-S-U. A Bosu ball is a half dome kind of exercise ball with a black bottom. And so what you do is you can do a lot of strengthening that involves your core, like stepping up onto it and down, or doing squats on top of it. And so when you do that, when you're on an uneven surface, think of it as either upside down or this way, you're really activating these core muscles. And the more you can be doing at the same time, the more metabolically active your muscles will be. So another thing, and I bought it for $50, and usually it's $100. And I just bought it from a personal trainer who was moving, and she just didn't want to carry it with her. When I go walking with my girlfriend, we go around the reservoir locally here, or other walks. I have these 2-pound weights, and they go around my hands, so I don't really have to grip very hard. And I just use them as I walk to pump my arms. I keep my shoulders back. I squeeze my shoulder blades together, keeping good posture, keep my core a little bit tight, and just walk. So walking can be really cardiovascular if you go a little faster. A little stroll, maybe not the walk we're talking about for cardiovascular health, but a brisk walk where you can still have a conversation and not get winded is the type of walk I'm talking about to get some cardiovascular benefit. But I like these a lot. And they also have a little reflective thing here. So again, these are maybe like $10. I bought these on Amazon. And lastly, these are just fun little discs. They're made out of rubber, and they bend and then things like that. And I bought these to play with my kids, and they played with it honestly more than I have. But the idea was to like plop them around either the yard or some space in your house, and you can hop to them and you can make a game of it. So if you have little kids, toddlers, or elementary kids, school kids, this is a fun thing to have them kind of set up a course. You know, if you've heard of parkour, where you jump on this and climb this and pull this, you can kind of make a parkour setup in your yard, or if sometimes in your house, depending on how strict you are in your house. We let a lot of things slide because we want our kids to be active, and so they'll jump from this to that, and they'll climb along the stairs and do all sorts of things. So I love seeing that because I want my kids to buy into the idea that fitness and active lifestyle is super important, and it is what will keep you healthy in the long run. So a couple more things. New moms. I was a new mom 10 years ago, and I became a mom of 2 kids 8 years ago. And I struggled with nursing and being up in the middle of the night and being just darn tired. And so I'm sure many of you can relate to that either now or in the past. And there were days that I couldn't remember if I'd showered. There were days that I'm like, did I have breakfast? I mean, I was just so tired. And so fitting and fitness was not on my high list. But I found that I could put my baby in a stroller and, you know, walk the reservoir. I could take the baby, you know, let's say this is a baby, 8 pounds, it's about a baby. And I could like be on the ground and go, hi, baby, and do things like that. So I could do a little bit of exercise with my arms. I tried to find baby related exercises. So I also carried my baby in a baby Bjorn, and both babies, and would walk around the house, or sometimes I'd do squats with them in my baby Bjorn. So I was determined to lose that pregnancy weight. So that is another couple of ideas for moms. What else? Oh, home exercises. When you're a new mom, you don't want to go to the gym. You're tired. You feel like, you know, I'm heavy. I just had a baby, my belly this, or whatever it is. You may not feel like being in public. So there's great videos. I have a lot of home videos. I started exercising with Jane Fonda when I was maybe junior high, and I went to exercises and all sorts of aerobic classes, and I did step classes and all sorts of different things. And so many things are now available on DVD, or even more easy is on YouTube. There's some things. And Beachbody has a streaming program, so you can get yoga, you can get floor exercises, you can get hard exercises, you can get easier exercises, and find challenges to give you a home exercise that's about 30 minutes long. So that's kind of a nice option. And like I was saying before, I bought my stationary bike. The reason I bought that, I bought a spin bike because I was going to do my first triathlon, mini triathlon, not a full triathlon, before I turned 40. And so I bought that so I can train at home or in the dark. You know, it's hard to fit in exercise when it's light, especially in the wintertime. So a stationary bike doesn't have to be that expensive, or even a spinning bike, but I think it's a really, really good investment. I recommend it all the time to my patients because it's not that big, and it provides a lot of cardio options, and it's pretty good on your knees. Most people who have knee problems can tolerate that because most of their weight is sitting on their bottom. And so it's even easier than walking for some people because of knee arthritis or hip arthritis. So I really strongly recommend a spin bike or stationary bike, and you can buy that on Craigslist too. That's where I got mine, but you can also buy them brand new. So think about that, maybe as a holiday present or a gift to yourself. And what else? A couple other things. Exhaustion. New moms, busy full-time people, moms, dads, you know, even if you're just overweight, you might just be exhausted because it's just hard sometimes to move, and you don't have the energy that exercise would give you. So the thing about exercise is it does give you energy. So if you could just find the motivation to get up and start, I tell my patients, you know, start something for 10 minutes. You know, whether it's walk outside for 10 minutes or go on your bike for 10 minutes or maybe some sit-ups or jumping jacks or something. And as 10 minutes goes by, you might think, I'm actually having fun and I feel a little bit energized and I feel good, and maybe I'll go another 5 or maybe I'll go another 10. And so knowing that you'll get more energy by exercising will hopefully knock that exhaustion off the table. But the other thing is when you exercise, your sleep improves. And I know for myself, I have a lot of nights where I wake up and my sleep is a little broken. And the nights I tend to do better when I've been really good about my exercise routine. Um, and then another common excuse is people just say, I don't like to exercise. I grew up when we didn't have Title IX and I didn't play sports and I didn't, I just don't like it. I don't like to sweat or whatever it might be. And that's not a good excuse, really, because it doesn't have to be like sweaty and fancy outfits. It could just be walks. So it could be gardening. It could be just taking the stairs, repetitively. I remember when I was a resident, I'd work long hours and I felt like I wasn't doing anything, and I was getting heavier because I was wearing scrubs, which can expand easily, and I wasn't eating that well. And so I would at least try to take the stairs in the hospital, and that would be helpful. I try to get people to remember the things they liked as a child. So some people liked hopscotch, some people liked skipping, some people liked playing on the jungle gym and things like that. And so if you're a mom and you have a toddler or your grandparent watching kids, when you're at the park, play with them, be part of it, go up the stairs, maybe do the handlebars or the jungle gym type stuff and participate. Not only are you going to have fun and your kid is going to remember like, oh, mom or grandma or grandpa or dad was really out there with me and being present, not on their phone or reading a book, but really playing with them. That's a value to your relationship, but also it's a value to your heart and your body. So I think just remembering what you used to like and trying to fit that in. I always think of myself as a Toys R Us kid. I don't think I still kind of like to be like a kid and do fun things. And I think I do more than some other moms. When I am at the park, I'm really chasing after my kids and sliding down the slide and chasing after them. And a lot of moms are chatting, which is great. But I like to have fun with my kids. And believe me, I've had plenty of times I'm chatting and plenty of times I'm sitting and checking emails and things like that. But I do encourage you once in a while to get out there and play and be a kid and just have fun. And then you won't even realize that you are exercising, and you'll think, I'm kind of out of breath or I'm a little sweaty. So try to have fun. So we've talked about a lot of things about myths: too busy, too expensive, I'm exhausted, I have no motivation because I don't like exercise or whatever it is. So let's talk about how we can incorporate what I've talked to you about into a plan. So I recommend people to set very, very specific goals. When a doctor tells you, and I hear this all the time, they say, you need to exercise and eat less. And then that's all they tell you. Or even people just in their mind, they say, I'm going to eat less and I'm going to lose, I'm going to exercise a little bit more. If you have concrete goals, so let's say you've written in your calendar, I'm going to walk 30 minutes 3 times a day, and you put it on your calendar, and it's a definable goal. Did I walk 3 times a day? Did I exit off my calendar? Did I give myself 3 stars? Whatever it might be. And if you achieve that, okay, I've met that goal. Okay, I'm going to try to walk 3 times a week for 4 weeks in a row, whatever it might be. So you want to be very, very, very specific with your idea, and you want to be also give yourself a time frame. So you might say also, I want to be able to do 10 push-ups, and right now I can barely do 1. And so you'll have a plan and you have a timeline, and you might say, well, at the end of the month, if I do 1 or 2 push-ups a day, and as I get stronger, maybe by the end of the month, like 30 days, I'll get to 10. And you might surprise yourself and get there ahead of that. It may take longer, but it's concrete, the 10 push-ups, and a time frame is defined. And I think that's a really good way in life in general to meet goals. But in terms of exercise, I think it's very helpful for people to have those defined goals. One thing I think is really helpful is technology. I took my watch up. I have an iWatch. The battery died, so I was charging it. I'm able to just press a button and say I'm doing an indoor cycle. It'll calculate my time and it'll tell my heart rate. I can say I'm going for a walk and just press a button, or I'm doing yoga and I press a button, and Apple will keep track of that for me. So that's kind of nice. Fitbit is another really great option. The Fitbit you can use throughout the day and count all your steps. And most people know your goal is 10,000 steps a day, which equates to about 5 miles of walking. And so some people who are competitive might find, okay, it's the end of the day, it's 5 o'clock. I've done 7,000 steps. So they might say, okay, I'm going to go for a short walk after work, or I'm going to take the dog for a walk, or maybe go outside and shoot baskets with my daughter or son. So technology is really helpful. Another place I think is valuable, I've used MyFitnessPal, but there's a lot of apps where you can, keep track of your weight, keep track of what you're eating, keep track of your exercise. And I think it's helpful to see that, and you'll get kind of little rewards on a lot of these apps. So technology these days is really, really helpful, and there's a million apps about exercise. And one I want to particularly talk about is the 7-minute app. 7 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're struggling for time, if you could just say, hey, I'm going to do 7 minutes of exercise, I'm going to hit this app, and it's going to go through jumping jacks and squats and lunges and a plank and a side plank and another side plank, and I say push-ups and dips with your tricep, and it'll walk you through this, count you down, and in 7 minutes you're done with this full body mini workout. And if you do 2 in a row or 3 in a row, then it's more of a cardiovascular workout. So 7 minutes, if you can give yourself 7 minutes, that app is really helpful. But there's all sorts of different ones. I've used Night Training Club, Map My Ride if I'm riding or walking outside or running. So there's a lot of different resources. So what I'd like you to do, I'm almost done wrapping up finding and fitting in fitness. I want you to write down what your personal barriers to exercise are, what they are. And so you might think, it might be exhaustion is the top one. I'm so tired. Well, maybe you go, maybe what you do then is write down your barriers and then solutions to those barriers. And so if you're exhausted, maybe you say, I'm going to go to bed a half hour early. And maybe I'm going to get up a half hour early and then exercise then. Or, and if that doesn't work, you try another one. I'm exhausted, maybe I'm dehydrated. I'm going to drink more during the day and see if that helps. So kind of start brainstorming what your barriers are, what your ideas to combat that. Hopefully some of the things I've advised will be helpful for you. And then, trial and error, see what works. And eventually you're going to make improvements. You're going to struggle. You're going to make gains, and you're going to struggle, and you're going to make gains. Life is not all perfect, but give yourself a break and just take one step in front of the other, and believe that it's one day at a time. What happened yesterday is yesterday. What is happening today is today. And I know you've had some sessions probably about mindfulness and being present and not worrying about the past, and to some degree not worrying about the future, other than I want you to have a healthy life, and hopefully that's your goal as well. So one other thing that you can think about is a before picture, or measurements, like a waist measurement, hips measurements, measurements across your chest, variety of measurements. You can look on Google, and these are just for you. These are not for your doctor. These are not for your spouse. And when you're thinking that you haven't made progress, like let's say in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 6 weeks, none of it's super fast. This is a lifestyle. This is a change that you're going to do forever. So if you're thinking that you haven't made progress, but you look at your before picture, or you look at the measurements and you see a change, then you'll be like, okay, it's working. Because the scale's not always going to change. Muscles weigh more than fat. Muscles are more metabolically active than fat, so they actually burn more calories. So it's a good thing. You want as much muscle as you can, and as we age, we naturally are losing muscle mass, so you want to combat that. So if the scale's not changing, but you're looking better, your pants are feeling better. I mean, some people don't want to weigh themselves at all. They'll just kind of keep track of a pair of pants that's a little tight, and then they try it on in a month, and they're like, oh, it's not quite so tight. Or your belt buckle. Oh, I'm able to get into a smaller belt buckle. So have some sort of a marker to tell if you're succeeding or not succeeding. So we've talked about why to exercise, consequences of not exercising. We've talked about the myriad of excuses we can all have, including myself. Believe me, I have lots of excuses too, and I'm not perfect. And then how to kind of combat those. I've given you a whole bunch of ideas, showed you that it doesn't have to be expensive. giving you ideas if you're a new mom or you're tired with work, how you can combat that, and then advise you to give yourself some goals, very concrete goals with a timeline, and also lastly, had you look at barriers and solution to those barriers for your personal life. So I hope that fitting and fitness is something that you think you can do. I know you're already motivated to participate and make changes. So I love the motivation. I love that you're working with Dr. Lex. She's got a wonderful program here. And if you need some resources, the American College of Sports Medicine, which is acsm.org, is a good one. The Cancer Society is cancer.org. The Heart Society is heart.org. And there's all sorts of articles about exercise and health. Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, any of the big hospitals have, Cleveland Clinic, wherever you might be, they have all sorts of good information on there as well. I just found one when I was researching this called Walk with a Doc. And I've always thought it'd be great to have like a Saturday or Sunday morning walk, bring my family, maybe some neighbors, some friends, and invite patients to go. And that's exactly what Walk with a Doc is. And so a cardiologist created that. It was done 10 years ago. So I contacted them actually this week, and I'm going to try to set something up in my area, which is in Northern California, because I put in our zip code and there was nobody. And it takes some commitment for me. But I'll get exercise. I'll show people how they can participate, hopefully make it fun. So see if there's a Walk with a Doc in your community, and just go to walkwithadoc.org. And if you have Netflix or cable, I think Netflix, at least they used to have some videos that you can get on demand. I mentioned Beachbody on demand, and then of course videos. So all sorts of resources, lots online. Sometimes it's overwhelming, so hopefully this gives you kind of the big picture. And overall, I'm happy to be a part of this Balance Before Burnout program. I hope that you find your path and to make this journey of health a reality for you, and that if you are interested, I work in Northern California in Walnut Creek. My office is called Comprehensive Wellness. We have a whole multidisciplinary team of people, and I take care of all the musculoskeletal problems and take care of athletes and active people, and also those who are trying to be active. And then lastly, I do have an Instagram page, which is Sports Dr. Nancy, and feel free to like me or follow me. And I have a Facebook page as well. And I'm trying to give motivational information and just health information on those so that you can have a resource. If you're interested in a one-on-one wellness consultation, also you can contact me on either Instagram or Facebook, and we can talk about that. So thank you for listening. Thank you for putting your life ahead of where it's been, because a lot of times people don't have their health as a priority. And I want you to find the will and the motivation and the excitement with the tools that we've given you to make it a success. So thank you very much. Again, I'm Nancy Rolnick. Have a good night.